Welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hi, Lemons. Hi, Mystic. Hi, Khaleesi. Hi, Rochelle. Thank you, Miriam. Hi, Stephen. Thanks, Carmen. Hi, Tater Tot. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hi, CJ. Hi, Sparkle Tree. Hi, Justin. Hey, powwow dude, how about you not tell me how to run my show? Okay? I didn't ask. Thank you. Hi, Skater. How are you? I miss you. How you doing? Hi, Angela. Hi, Wookie. Hi, Joker. Hi, Snowfall. CJ said, Thank you, Kim. Like, did you see that? How dare, like, are you serious, bro? Like, excuse me? Who the fuck comes in here and does that? I don't think so. Skater, how you been? We missed ya. He's come in before and been rude. I can't remember what he said last time, but I remember his name, and he pissed me off last time. I don't remember what he said, but I remember names of people. Like, I look out for the people. Like, if you come in and piss me off again, that's it. Lores and snores. I love that, Addie. That's so cute. I love how Venus went right after him. She said, "Who are you?" Love her. Well, thank you, Venus. Hi, Lady Rose. Hi, Tupalita. Oh, Rochelle, I'm glad your kitty's gonna be okay. That's a win for sure. Hi, Laura. How are you? Hi, Yaya. Hi, Ron. Hi, Heidi. Oh, that's okay, Glinda. Yes, Leslie. Oh, Oh, thank you, Ben. Welcome in. Right, Susan? Like, for real, bro? Well, and Kim was quick with the block. She was like, nope, not today. He said, turn up the music and turn up the music more and turn the voice down. Oh, last time he came in, he told me to talk less? Yeah. He's just an asshole. So, bye. Yeah, Devlin, I'm still doing stories. We start the first story at 10:30. So, yeah, you really did, Kim. So we're about to vote once people put out suggestions. Venus, you're so funny. Lady Rose, it's just how everyone is to anybody. It's wild. Oh, hi, Salvatore. How are you? Nice to see you. Hi, Annette. Hi, Dawn. All right, you guys, go ahead and type if you guys have story requests that you would like to hear tonight. Go ahead and put it in the chat. Oh, thanks, Devlin. In all capital letters, please. That's okay, Skater. I saw yours, and you did it before I said all caps. All capital letters, and so I can just see it easier in the chat, and I'll write them down, and then we'll vote. I'm good, Miriam. How are you? Happy Wednesday. Yep, Cindy, you got it right. That's what it's called. Thanks, Mackenzie. Yeah, I know, Skater. So if you don't say anything, then how would I not miss you? Because you're not engaging in the chat. So, you know, even if you're still here, you don't talk as much anymore. Catherine said spooky pajama pants. Hi, Thay. Oh, thank you, Sparkle Tree. That's so sweet. Okay, Steven, I got your request. Hi, James. Hi, Seabass. Hi, April. Hi, Ren. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Cherokee. Yes, I am. Guys, this is my friend John. He's the one that helped me pronounce Spearfinger's name right in Cherokee. Welcome him in. Hi, Michelle. And yes, John Cherokee Myth was one of my OG TikTok friends. We've been friends since we first joined TikTok, and he is a Cherokee storyteller. And I was like, help, how do I pronounce this? I don't want to butcher it. And he sent me a voice note telling me how to say it, like a kind friend. And he used to go live and tell his Cherokee stories. And he was like, I don't think anybody will remember me. I was like, that doesn't matter. We've got a whole bunch of new people here, and they would love to hear your Cherokee stories. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, love ya. Yeah. Welcome in, everybody. I'm going to set up the first poll with your story requests. And if you guys, thank you, Heidi. If you guys could do me a big favor while I'm setting up the poll, if you could hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner. There's a yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs. And it helps us grow this porch. Hi, Jade. And you can also share it to your stories, with your friends, anything like that. And it helps a lot. Thank you to everybody tapping. And I'll be right back with the first poll. Okay, you guys, the first poll is ready. We have Spearfinger. We have the Deer Woman of Oklahoma. We have the Fresno Nightcrawlers. We have the Ozarks Howler. And we have the Mothman. You can vote in the top left-hand corner. There's a blue box. And you can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. And let's vote for Spearfinger, because John's here. Okay, Sparkles. By the way, guys, it's spear, like a metal spear that you throw at someone. Spearfinger. I've seen a lot of people are writing spirit finger, and I love that. I've seen at least 3 people write spirit finger. I don't know if it's autocorrect or if I'm not saying it clearly, but either way, just so you guys know, it's spear, just to clarify. It is fun to say spirit finger, though. That's cute. Hi, P. Watson. Hi, Chelsea. Hi, Shadow. Thank you, External. Welcome in. And if you are new here, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories. Hi, Allie. I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. And if you guys could do me a big favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner, there is a yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs and it helps us grow out this porch. Also, the winner of the poll is Spearfinger, which makes me really happy because my dear friend John, Cherokee Myth, is here. He's a Cherokee storyteller and he helped me figure out how to pronounce it correctly so that I didn't butcher it in the video. So thank you again, John, and I will be right back, you guys, with the tale of Spearfinger. So grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, and welcome to the porch. And thank you for the taps on the screen, everybody. Also, guys, shout out to my real life best friend, Allie, who is here tonight. She just showed up and surprised me. She lives in California. So say hi to Allie. Love you. Hi, Mary. DW, thank you for your first gift ever. That's so sweet. I'm glad you like it, John. How are you, Dawn? Yeah, it was nice to see you too. Yaya says Spearfinger's looking at me weird. That's okay, lovely. No one ever gets notified, apparently. I never get notified when anybody goes live. So, apparently that's just the way this app works now. Apparently. But Discord alerts people. It's very reliable. Shades, I will tell stories until 1 a.m. tonight. Welcome in. And I'm about to start this one right now. Just going to take a quick swig of my tea. And we'll be back with Spearfinger. You get notified, Dawn? Good. A lot of us don't. And I have no idea why. Shades, I tell stories till about 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you ever forget, there's a little banner moving across the screen that tells to. Brandy, you're so cute. I love that. And thank you, Shades. I love that. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of Spearfinger. People talk about the Great Smoky Mountains National Park like it's beautiful, peaceful, spiritual, and it is. But there's another side to these mountains that locals don't always discuss openly. The Smokies are ancient, older than every other mountain range on Earth. And there are places deep in those forests where the air feels heavy in a way that's difficult to explain. The fog settles low between the trees, and sound behaves strangely in the valleys. And entire sections of the forest can go unnervingly silent without warning. Long before the national park existed, Cherokee communities lived throughout the region, and many legends were tied directly to the mountains themselves. And one of the most feared stories is the legend of Spearfinger, known in Cherokee tradition as Ut Lunda. According to the old stories, Spearfinger was a terrifying shape-shifting entity with stone skin and a razor-sharp finger made of obsidian-like rock. She could disguise herself as an elderly woman and lure people close before attacking them. And unlike other monsters from folklore, Spearfinger wasn't described as wild or animalistic. She was intelligent, patient, manipulative. The stories often warn travelers not to trust unfamiliar voices in isolated mountain areas, because Spearfinger could imitate human behavior almost perfectly. Most people today treat the legend like a mere campfire tale. And I used to think the same thing. But then, I went to visit my friend Christina in Knoxville. Christina had moved to Knoxville several years ago, relocating for work, and she fell in love with the Smokies immediately. And I have always been obsessed with paranormal stories, cryptids, and Appalachian legends. And ever since Porch Lore took off, Christina had kind of gotten into it too. The first night I arrived, we stayed up late, talking on her apartment balcony while warm summer rain rolled across the city in the distance. The mountains were barely visible beneath thick layers of fog and cloud cover. Christina told me that she had found a secluded hiking trail online that supposedly led to old abandoned settlements hidden deep in the Smokies. Hardly any tourists, no crowded overlooks, just forests and ruins. The next morning, we left before sunrise and we drove east toward the mountains, while the mist drifted across the roads in pale ribbons. The closer we got to the national park, the more isolated everything became. Gas stations disappeared, cell service weakened. Dense forest crowded both sides of the road until it felt like the mountains were swallowing us whole. Eventually, Christina turned onto a narrow gravel road leading toward a nearly empty trailhead, hidden far away from the busier parts of the park. The second I stepped out of the car, I noticed how quiet it was. We started hiking shortly after sunrise, and the trail wound through enormous hemlocks and moss-covered boulders, slick with moisture from the constant mountain fog. Sunlight barely reached the forest floor in places, and everything smelled like wet bark and pine. About an hour into the hike, we encountered an older Cherokee man sitting beside the trail near a small stream crossing. He wore a faded denim jacket, despite the humidity, and he carried a walking stick carved in symbols I didn't recognize. At first, he seemed friendly enough, nodding politely as we approached, and then his expression changed to concern, and his eyes lingered on the direction we were heading, and he asked if we had planned on continuing deeper into the trail past the old settlement ruins. And Christina explained that that was, in fact, our plan. The man grew quiet for several seconds before warning us that certain areas deeper in the Smokies were avoided by locals for a reason. He spoke carefully, almost reluctantly, and eventually he mentioned Spearfinger by name. Even hearing her name beneath those trees out there made my stomach tighten. The man explained that stories about Spearfinger were never intended as entertainment. According to him, the old legends existed because people had encountered something dangerous in those mountains long ago. He was specifically warned about hearing voices in isolated parts of the forest. And then he told us if the forest ever became completely silent, we needed to leave immediately. Christina and I exchanged nervous glances afterwards, but once we continued hiking, we mostly laughed it off. It felt eerie in the moment, sure, but we just assumed he was trying to scare two obvious tourists fascinated with folklore. The trail grew deeper as we climbed higher into the mountains. Fog drifted heavily between the trees now, sometimes so dense it completely obscured the woods ahead of us. Eventually, we came across the remains of several collapsed cabins hidden deep in the forest. The place felt wrong immediately. The ruins looked ancient, half swallowed by moss and vines. Rotting wood sank into the earth, while crooked stone chimneys rose between the trees like gravestones. Then the woods went silent, completely silent. No birds, no insects, nothing. Before either of us could say anything, we heard footsteps. Something behind us. Slow, heavy, measured. Not an animal. These were human footsteps. We both turned around, and at first I couldn't see anything through all the fog. But then a shape slowly emerged. An old woman stood motionless in the forest, maybe 30 feet away. She wore long gray clothing stained dark around the edges, and her white hair hung in tangled strands around her face. At first glance, she looked frail. But then I noticed her hand. There was one finger that was impossibly long, dark gray, sharp at the tip like chipped stone. The old woman stared directly at us without blinking, and Christina whispered that we needed to leave immediately. We started backing away down the trail, and the woman took one slow step forward. And even from a distance, I could see that she was smiling unnaturally. It widened across her face. And I remember realizing that her skin didn't move normally. It looked too stiff and too tight, almost cracked in places like weathered rock beneath thin flesh. The woman continued watching us while the fog drifted around her legs. And then I heard something that made my blood run cold. My name. Softly spoken from somewhere deeper in the woods behind us. Thank you, Jima. I spun around instinctively, but nobody was there. When I looked back toward the woman, she had moved closer without making a sound. Far too close. And that was when Christina grabbed my arm and started pulling me down the trail quickly. The footsteps followed almost immediately behind us, perfectly matching our pace. Every time I looked back, the old woman seemed nearer than before, despite the fact that I never saw her fully walking toward us. The fog thickened rapidly until the trail became barely visible ahead. And then the voice came again, this time directly beside me. My name whispered softly from somewhere just beyond the trees. I turned and I saw the woman standing only a few feet away in the woods. That's impossible. There was no way she could have reached us that quickly. And now that I could see her closer, she looked less human. Her silver gray eyes reflected light strangely. And beneath her thin skin, subtle grinding movements shifted across her face and neck like stone scraping against stone underneath flesh. Christina screamed, and that was all it took for both of us to panic completely, and we ran. Branches whipped against our faces as we sprinted down the mountain trail through dense fog. And somewhere behind us, something crashed violently through the woods. At one point, I looked back, and I immediately regretted it. The old woman was no longer standing upright. She moved on all fours through the forest at horrifying speed, her limbs bending at unnatural angles, while her long stone finger dragged against the rocks and the tree trunks with a metallic scraping sound. That image still shows up in my nightmares sometimes. We finally saw the parking area up ahead through the fog, and we sprinted toward the car as fast as we could. The second we reached it, I turned around one last time. The forest had gone completely still again, and the woman stood motionless at the edge of the trees watching us, smiling. Christina reversed out of the gravel lot so fast we nearly slid into a ditch. Neither of us spoke much during the drive back to Knoxville. And that night, neither of us slept. We stayed up all night reliving the experience and trying to make sense of what happened. Thank you, Trisha. Around 2 a.m, I walked into Christina's kitchen for water. And as I passed the window, above the sink I spotted movement outside that caught my attention. An old woman stood beneath a flickering parking lot light near the edge of the apartment complex. Completely still, just watching the building. The same tangled white hair, the same gray clothing, the same unnatural posture. My entire body locked up with fear. I called for Christina to come into the kitchen. She rushed into the room moments later. But by the time we both looked outside again, the parking lot was empty. Thank you, Trisha. There was no movement anywhere. Still, neither of us spoke while Christina quietly locked every deadbolt on the apartment door. Thanks, Trisha. That's my favorite one. It's so cute. I drove home 2 days later. Christina said she still sees that old woman along the border of the woods outside her apartment. And every time she's tried to approach her, she just disappears into the shadows. So, be careful where you wander out in the woods and who you come across while you're wandering. Because remember, looks can be deceiving. And that's the tale of Spearfinger. Thank you guys. And Shadow, thank you. That's so kind. Thanks, John. That was Spearfinger. I just finished that story. Hi, Shara. Good night, Queen Cece. Sweet dreams. We'll see you tomorrow. Vampy said meow. Thank you so much, Shadow. I very much appreciate it. That's so kind. Thank you, Matt, for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Also, welcome in if you are new here. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. Hi, Leprechaun. Welcome in. Hi, Michael. And thanks, Lorna. And I am here. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. You guys look. Jungle Blitzy. Thanks, Carmen. He's so cute. And I am here every night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself, and they are available on my YT channel as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Whenever you would like to listen, just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. And the story I just read, I just premiered that one on Monday. That is the new story of the week. So I hope you guys enjoy the tale of Spearfinger, which is a Cherokee legend. And once again, thank you to my dear friend, John, who is a Cherokee storyteller, right there pinned, who helped me, who told me the right way to pronounce her Cherokee name. And we love you, John, and we miss your lives. Go live again and tell stories. Thank you, user. I appreciate you. All right, guys, thank you so much for all of the likes and tapping on the screen and the adorable capybara gifts. Thank you, Catmandu. I love that. Thank you, Nanita. Thank you, Archangelo. These capybara gifts are giving me life. I will be right back with the next poll for us to vote for the next story. And grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, and welcome to the porch. As I always say, there is always room for one more on the porch. So if you'd like to invite one more, while I'm getting the poll ready, feel free to hit that share arrow and hit the repost, or put it in your story, or share it with your friends. I'm sure everybody could use a little nervous system relaxation. And no, Vampy, I don't have demon stories because I don't believe in demons. That's just a word for, I don't know. I'm not going to get into it, but that's made up. There's positive and negative energy in the world, and that's all there is. That's no different than like an elemental that's matching low vibration. You know what I mean? A demon is just low vibration energy, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, I know, Vampy. So yeah, no, I don't really have demon stories, but I do have scary elemental stories like the Puckwudgies. They're about as close to a demon in my stories, I would say. But I do have some creepy humans like the maintenance man. That's probably the closest to a demon I have, is a human man. Okay, Cherokee, love you. Thanks for joining. Sweet dreams. It was nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Okay, guys, I'll be right back with... Well, and Vampy, there are all kinds of stories I have that have creepy elementals and stuff in them, or entities that could probably be, like, I'm sure a super Christian person would call all of those things demonic. Somebody, while I was telling the Spearfinger story, somebody on the YT chat came in and said that while I was telling the Spearfinger story, they came in, let me find it, and said, I rebuke this in Jesus' name. So if you're Christian enough, I mean, anything could be a demon if you try hard enough. Oh, that's cool, Vampy. Yeah, I figured you weren't. I was just saying, like, and not all Christians believe that. I'm just saying, like, you know, if you're one of those out there people, you could think anything's demonic, you know? Okay, guys, we have... Oh, hi, Holly. Holly, are you Chaos on YT? Because if it is, I knew it was you. Oh, Christina just got here, you guys. Christina, we were all yelling for you. We were like, Christina! Oh, okay. Yeah, send me, if you do that live, send it to me. I would love that, Joker. Yeah, guys, Christina, the one and only, just made it in. She just said, what's up, hey? Yeah, we just read the story. And I was like, man, it's the first story of the night. Yeah, Christina. That's okay, Yanni. I just, you know, it won the poll. It was like first story of the night tonight, which doesn't usually happen. So I was like, oh no. Okay, guys, the next poll is ready. We have the last summer carnival, the Boo Hag, the Fresno night crawlers, the stillness in the cedars, and Eliza Crawford's ghost. Thanks, Misty. I miss you. All right, guys, you can vote in the top left-hand corner. There is the last summer carnival, the Boo Hag, the Fresno night crawlers, the stillness in the cedars, which features Jade. Jade's in that story. And guess who's in the Boo Hag? Yeah. And then we have Eliza Crawford's ghost. Who's it gonna be? Yeah, versus Jade. Yeah, versus Jade, main character energy. Oh, that's okay, Misty. I just meant I miss you. And is Leslie still in here? Because Leslie loves the carnival one. Holly, did you try clearing your cache or uninstalling the app and reinstalling the app? Sometimes it just needs like a total reset. You know what I mean? Yeah, and guess what, Uncle Slayer? This isn't supposed to be loud. It's for relaxing and falling asleep. And if you don't stop talking about my sound, we're going to block you on that account too. Because I know it's you. Not to mention the fact that these lives are literally recorded and go straight to YT and there is no sound issues. I keep all of my sounds at the exact level. I am literally a professional at this. I literally hold a degree in broadcast. So if one more person comes in here and tries to tell me how to do my job, like shut the fuck up. If you don't like the sound, get out of here. That's fine. That's easy enough. He literally went to a different account to come in and bitch about my sound again. Same dude, Kim, different account. Okay, so the winner of the poll. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, AJ. Hi, UL. I like the little ghost. Thank you. Yeah, it's really weird. And he did the same thing the other night. Lovely. Yeah. Laura said, PS. Thank you, Shannon. Okay, so the winner of the poll is... Thank you, Janie. Wait. Janae. Thank you, Janae. Okay, so the winner of the poll is... I had to correct myself because I've been saying her name wrong forever. And then she messaged me and told me and I felt really bad. So I have to stop myself and say it. It's Janae, right? Janae. Okay, the winner of the poll is Eliza Crawford's ghost. Okay, Chaos, yeah, you can clear your cache. I don't know if you know how to do that, but if you just give it a quick Goog, it'll tell you the steps how to do it. But I think that might be your problem, is just clear the cache and it might work better. Thank you, Janae. Love you too. All right, you guys, I will be right back with the tale of the ghost who solved her own murder also known as Eliza Crawford's ghost. I know, forgive us. Brandon, poor Nightcrawlers. Literally, I really thought that story was going to do better than it's been doing. I don't know why, but I really thought that one was going to be a hit because they're so funny and weird. And like, it has not won a single poll. Poor Nightcrawlers. Kim's spooky silk stockings. Oh, really, Kat? Are you close to them too? Spooky. Spooky. They honestly, like, I'm not really scared of cryptids or anything like that. But they weird me out. I'm not sure if I'd be scared, but they kind of freak me out because I just feel like I said in the story, monsters that look like a living creature, like even if it's like a wolf man or, it still looks like a living creature we're familiar with. The Nightcrawlers, don't look like anything we're familiar with, and that makes me feel weird. Like, that just makes me be like, ooh, what the hell is that? It just feels creepy. Quick swig, and I'll be right back with Eliza Crawford. Plus, to be fair, the Nightcrawlers haven't done anything to anybody. They just creep through video camera. Like, they just keep getting caught on video, creeping around. You know? I don't think so, Steven, but who knows? There's been a lot tonight. Right, guys? They're just weird looking. They actually haven't even, like, hurt anybody. Beefy. They've never done anything to anybody. Yeah, they're just spooky. Yep, exactly. So that's like, I don't even know if I'd be scared. I'd just be so curious. I'd want to talk to them. I would literally be like, and that's my problem, is they'd be like, she was last seen walking up to a Nightcrawler getting swallowed by him or something. I don't, you know what I mean? They've never done anything. Oh, really, Vampy? Yeah. I love this one too. This is Laura's favorite. Quick swig and I'll be right back. I think that is Glinda. That's so funny because that is what those huge worms are called. Michelle. God, I love when Michelle comments. All she does is make me crack up. Man, the trolls are out tonight. I've got them on YT right now too. Sorry, you guys. Just What in the world? Is it a full moon? Like, what the fuck's going on? I know it's not a full moon. I'm just kidding. Jamie. And my other real life friend, ladies and gentlemen, Jamie. Jamie, and don't mod, she is not a troll. She's my real friend. Jade, don't worry about it. You guys don't have to monitor both. There's only 22 people over there. I can handle it. It just takes me a minute sometimes because I am doing 3 of them at the same time. Oh my god, look how cute he is. What was that? Jungle Blitzy doing something else in the jungle? Thank you, Trisha. Why is he so cute? Jamie said, it's true. Wait, so Nightcrawler's like the worms or like the ones from Fresno? Thank you, Steven. I appreciate you. Hi, Freakish Stream. How you doing? Welcome in. That's a cute little face. I like that. I've never seen that before. Oh my god, that's really cute. Freakish Dream. I love that little face. Why is that so cute? Is that like a T-Witch thing? I'm new to T-Witch. Look at Cooper. Was he playing with a cactus with his little paws? What was he doing? I know, Michelle Ray is so cute. Trisha, did you see that? Was he playing with the cactus? No, Holly didn't take out the invisibility. Oh, she's done? It worked? Holly, did you clear your cache? Did it work? Oh my god, it worked. Holly, it worked. She's out of purgatory. Oh my god, Jungle Blitzy. So each Jungle Blitzy's different? He does something different each time? Holly, I knew it would work. Because she went over to YT and told me that she couldn't write comments. And I told her, I was like, oh, go clear cache. Oh, yay, Holly. We're so glad you're back. Justin went over to YT and said, trolls will face the Spearfinger. Hi, TR. Okay, be right back. She said I did so many things. Thank you. Love you, Holly. Yes, I saw that, Jade, but you can't change it unless you change levels. Because I tried it today. I wanted mine to hold the fan, but I'm not at level 4 for something for Kim, and I couldn't put the fan on it to send it to Kim. So I have no idea. Hi, relaxing music. We're about to start this story right now. And this is the tale of the ghost who solved her own murder. It's a true story about a woman named Eliza Crawford. How'd you make yours hold a broom? It must have been one of the gifts you could choose for a certain level. I'm gonna have to look. May, that's so cute, Forrest. And thank you, Suzanne, for the swimming cappy. That doesn't make any sense, Jade. You can't send it to yourself. What do you mean? If it's holding a broom, I would see it when you sent it to me. What are you talking about? Perfect timing. This is the song we need. That's awesome, Canadian style. I grew up on crazy ghost stories too. I could really go for some salad and wine right now, like honestly. Oh wait, Jade, are you saying that okay, I get what you're saying. You change the one that appears from other people. Like I change it. I thought you meant like you change the one you give to people. And I was like, you can't give yourself a heart. Now I get it. And then I could give it to you. Okay. That makes more sense. Okay, so then I need to change. So then no wonder I was trying to change mine while I was in Kim's live, and it was probably like, what are you doing? Okay, so I'll look into that, and I need to change mine too. But yeah, go live and I'll give you one. Obviously not right now. Oh my God, look at Cooper with that flower. He was smiling. Hi, Jackson. Guys, that sounds so good. That sounds so good. That sounds so good. I love balsamic vinaigrette, and I love berries and almonds. Sounds delicious. That's so crazy Canadian style. Whenever I hear about a haunted house, I actually like want to know the history of the land and the house and who lived there and who owned the property, and like the ghost part's cool, but I want to know why. It's not as interesting to me if it's just like, well, we always hear these. Okay, well, who is it? Find out. You know what I mean? That's what I find so fascinating. That's why I like Colin so much, because he goes into the history of things. Oh, thank you, Holly, for the onsen capybara. And thank you for the divine fingers. That's still just such a strange name for a gift. It's very weird, but thank you. I don't even know what that really means. 100 years old, yeah. Pneumastic? Then you have like a portal in your house? Hi, Ash. Suzanne, we were just talking about that in my live today. Were you not there? That's really weird if you asked that and you weren't there today. That'd be really weird. Were you not in my live today, Suzanne? Hi, Crazy Butterfly. But so you heard about the Hat Man thing? It's good, Holly. It's always just pretty chill for Witchy Wednesday. Hardly anybody shows up, to be honest, but we still have fun. But it's never really that, we don't really do a lot. It's not really that exciting. We just hang out. Yeah, I told everybody about Andrew Jackson. Because that was the first thing they came in this morning on the agenda, was they wanted to finish the conversation about Andrew Jackson, which cracks me up, and I loved it so much. I love it. Thanks, TR. Glessa, you did. I think I saw you. Yeah, Terry, you were there. Aw, Jade, you're so sweet. Thank you, Kelly. Jackson, you're related to Andrew Jackson? Oh, man. Yeah, Vampy. You sure did. Because on the Witchy Wednesdays, I talk about everything that's not storytelling. Like, you can ask me any topic and I'll ramble about it. And they asked me to tell them about Andrew Jackson, and so I did. And then they asked me to talk about Hat Man, so I did. But on storytime nights, I don't get deep into that because I can't, I don't know, some of these things is just too much. People jump to conclusions, so I have to really tell thorough explanations of things. Girl, is so much. Just come to Witchy Wednesday next week and I'll tell you. Yes, the president, Andrew Jackson. Are you Jackson? Oh man, I'm sorry. Thank you, Trisha. Now, come on, Jade. Travis is not worse than Andrew Jackson, okay? Let's be real. In case you guys didn't know, Jade hates my boyfriend, Travis. Thank you, Trisha. That was so cute. I love the Prairie Cooper. Why is he so cute? Whitney said, if Jade hates him, so do I. And Justin said, rightfully so. Oh. Wait, Suzanne, when you wake up at 4 a.m. for what? Yeah, Holly, Christina was here. I don't know if she still is. Suzanne, what are you talking about? You saw him 3 years ago? Oh. Oh, got it. Christina. Yeah, she's gone. That's okay, Gigi. It's, this is... Hi, Robin. Yeah, we're telling stories. What would make you think no stories? There's literally a background for a story pulled up. Hi, King. Jackson. Okay, guys, quick swig, and I'll be right back with the tale of the ghost who solved her own murder. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the ghost who solved her own murder. The small Appalachian town of Green Hollow was quiet, nestled in the hills of West Virginia. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other, and secrets rarely stayed hidden for long. An unsolved murder had left its mark on the land and the memories of those who lived there. It was the story of Eliza Crawford, a young woman found dead under mysterious circumstances in the winter of 1897. Her death had been ruled an accident, but whispers of foul play persisted. Some claimed that Eliza's spirit still roamed the hills. But the strangest part of the tale was not just her ghost lingered. It was that she, from beyond the grave, had a hand in solving the very crime that took her life. The day Eliza Crawford died was bitterly cold. The kind of cold that seeped through your skin and settled deep into your bones. She had left her family's farmhouse early in the morning to visit her cousin Margaret, who lived across the valley. Eliza, only 23, was known for her kindness, quick wit, and beauty. Her auburn hair stood out against the snow as she trudged along the path, her breath visible in the crisp air. But she never made it to Margaret's house. It wasn't until nightfall, when her father, Jacob Crawford, returned home from town, that they realized she was missing. A search party was quickly organized, lanterns bobbing through the dark as men and women called her name into the freezing night. It was her brother, Samuel, who found her body. She lay at the bottom of a steep ravine, her limbs twisted unnaturally, her face pale in the moonlight. The doctor was summoned, but his verdict was quick. Eliza had slipped on the icy rocks and fallen to her death. A tragic accident. But something about the scene didn't sit right with Samuel or Margaret. Eliza had walked past that many times. She knew the terrain too well to simply fall. But the doctor's word was final, and the town moved on. Eliza was buried in a small cemetery on the hill beneath the weeping willow tree. Her death, while mourned, was accepted by most as an unfortunate twist of fate. Except for one person, and that was Margaret. Margaret was the first to notice something was wrong. 3 nights after Eliza's funeral, she woke in the middle of the night to a strange sound. Soft, like footsteps on the hardwood floor outside her bedroom. At first, she thought it was her imagination, but then the whisper. Margaret. Her voice was unmistakable. It was Eliza. Margaret shot up in bed, her heart pounding, and she called out into the dark, but no answer came. The house was still, and the only sound was the wind howling outside, rattling the windows. The next morning, Margaret told her mother, but Mrs. Blackwell dismissed it as grief playing tricks on her daughter's mind. Yet the whispers continued, each night growing a little louder and a little clearer. Margaret, help me. Disturbed but determined, Margaret went to Samuel. He was very skeptical at first, but agreed to visit Eliza's grave with her. When they arrived, the air around the cemetery was unnaturally cold. Margaret felt a chill that went beyond the winter wind. As they stood in front of Eliza's headstone, Margaret heard it again. "Help me." The voice was faint but unmistakable, and Samuel heard it too. His face went pale as he glanced at Margaret. Eliza was trying to tell them something. And after that day, Samuel began to believe. He and Margaret returned to the grave frequently, hoping for more clues. But Eliza's voice remained elusive. It wasn't until a week later, when Margaret was walking alone in the woods near the ravine where Eliza had died, that she experienced the most chilling encounter yet. As she approached the spot where Eliza's body had been found, the air grew thick, as if the very atmosphere was charged with energy. The world around her seemed to blur, and for a moment Margaret thought she might faint. But instead of collapsing, she saw something. A vision, faint like a memory replaying itself before her eyes. Eliza was there, standing at the edge of the ravine. She wasn't alone. A man was with her. Margaret couldn't make out his face, but she saw him grab Eliza's arm roughly, and there was a struggle. Eliza tried to pull away, but the man was too strong and he pushed her. She fell, tumbling down the ravine as the man watched, and then the vision was gone. Margaret gasped. The truth of what she had seen burned into her mind. Eliza hadn't fallen. She had been pushed. Shaken but resolute, Margaret went to Samuel with what she had seen. His face grew darker with every word. He too had begun to suspect that Eliza's death was no accident. But this vision confirmed it. Someone had murdered her. But who? They thought back to Eliza's life, to the people she had known, the men she had courted, and one name came to the forefront. William Billy Turner. He had been sweet on Eliza for years, but she had always rejected his advances. Recently, though, his behavior had turned more aggressive. He had been seen arguing with her in town just days before her death. Billy Turner was a hot-headed young man, known for his temper and jealous streak, and he had always been obsessed with Eliza. And Samuel and Margaret now feared that his obsession had turned deadly. That night, Eliza's whispers returned clearer than ever. "Billy." It was all the confirmation they needed. Eliza's ghost was pointing them toward her killer. Armed with this revelation, Samuel and Margaret went to the sheriff, but they knew that without solid evidence, their claims would be dismissed as superstition. So, they decided to confront Billy Turner themselves. They found him drinking at a local tavern. When they approached him, he sneered at them, his eyes bloodshot. Margaret felt a wave of fear wash over, but Samuel stood firm. "We know what you did, Billy," Samuel said. His voice was steady. "Eliza didn't fall. You pushed her." Billy's face went pale, and for a moment, he looked like a cornered animal. Then he laughed, a low, bitter sound. "You're crazy. You can't prove anything." Margaret stepped forward, her voice trembling but fierce. "Eliza told us. She told us what you did." Billy's eyes darted around the room, the weight of guilt settling on his shoulders. His hand shook and he looked like he might bolt for the door. But Samuel grabbed him by the collar, forcing him to meet his gaze. "Tell the truth, Billy, or I swear I'll make sure everyone in this town knows what you are." For a long moment, Billy said nothing. Then, with a broken sob, he confessed. He had followed Eliza that day, determined to confront her about rejecting him. And in his rage, he had pushed her, not meaning to kill her, but the moment she fell, he panicked and fled. Billy Turner's confession shocked the town, but it also brought a strange sense of relief. Eliza's death was no longer a mystery, and justice was finally served. Billy was arrested, tried, and sentenced for his crime. As for Eliza's spirit, the whispers stopped right after Billy's confession. Samuel and Margaret visited her grave one last time as they stood beneath the weeping willow. They felt a sense of peace that had eluded them for so long. "Eliza," Margaret whispered into the cold air. "We did it. You're free." The wind rustled through the branches of the willow, and for a brief moment they felt it. A warmth. A final goodbye from their beloved Eliza. And then she was gone. And that's the tale of the ghost who solved her own murder. Forgive us, that would have been a twist, but unfortunately this is a true story, so it wasn't them. It was her husband. But that would be a cool one to write. Thank you, Glenda. Thanks, Mace. But If it had been them, they would have just let her be like buried as an accident and moved on. You know what I mean? I don't think they would have investigated it. Hey, Robin. Welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. I'm here every night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. By the way, Jade, Beefy just said that he gave his a pumpkin latte, and Beefy doesn't go live. So it is individual people's hearts. It's not the creator's heart me, it's your heart me. So you just gave your heart me a broom. And then we missed it when you gave it to me. Damn it. Because Beefy said he gave his a pumpkin spice latte. And then you know what? When people came into my live today and they gave me stuff and their heart me's this morning with the Witchy Wednesday, they did have different items. Everybody's had different items. I don't know, CJ. It just became a new thing. You can like give your heart me. I want to give mine the fan. Somebody had a fan, but I don't know how to. It says I'm not level 4 or something. I don't know what the hell that means, but I'll figure it out. Trust me. I'll figure it out by tomorrow, and I'll let you know. I'll have it done by tomorrow. No, I don't have a story about Andrew Jackson. I was just talking about him in my live today because people wanted to hear more about him and the information. So it's it was kind of something you had to catch. But I do go live every Wednesday where we talk about anything. And I will talk about Andrew Jackson again next Wednesday if you guys want. It's Wednesday in the morning, like during the day. And thank you. Thanks, Deborah. But, you know, to be honest, the truth about Andrew Jackson's a horror story enough on its own. But AJ, yeah, I just don't do it during the story nights because people start to complain that I'm talking too much and people do want to hear stories. So on the Wednesdays, I talk about anything you guys want to chat about. So next Wednesday, I'll cover Andrew Jackson again because a lot of people missed it. But you guys actually have to come. You get it? Okay, thanks. Thanks, AJ. Because I would literally just tell you right now and then I'd veer off course for an hour and we'd tell 2 stories. So, yeah, Wednesdays are the best. We talk about whatever we want. Yeah, AJ, you get it. But thank you. And I would love to talk about Andrew Jackson with you guys again. But you know what? I'm going to start doing outdoor hike lives just for fun in the daytime, like pop-ups. And I can talk about whatever the hell I want. And I was looking at the weather and I might be able to do one this weekend when it's not raining. And then I could just talk about Andrew Jackson on this weekend. So I'll let you guys know. But turn on your bells because if I start doing pop-ups, it's not on the normal schedule and you guys will just be alerted. You know? Good, Jade. Yay. Because I forgot about that. I'm not just going to be doing Witchy Wednesdays anymore. I'm going to be on camera more often. I'm going to be outdoors. So we could completely talk about it this week sometime. I'm located in Ohio currently, unfortunately. Thank you for the swim, Jess. Michelle, thank you for the power up. No, I didn't see the record player. What record player? Thank you, Grandma. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Jess. What record player? Did your Heart Me have a record player? Hi, Ethan. What's my dream vacation? My dream vacation isn't somewhere haunted. I'm actually not really that into, I'm like not that obsessed with haunted things because it's just like human spirits and like, oh, I see it, Holly. I see the record player. I see it now. Thank God I have this other phone set up to view gifts. Thank God. I have the other phone swiped out so I can open it and see the gifts. That was cool, Holly. Aw, singing class. That sounds fun, Vampy. I know, Holly. What is the deal? It's so weird. Oh, good, Robin. Hell yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to set up the next poll for us to vote. And my dream vacation isn't really somewhere haunted. My dream vacation would be like somewhere tropical. Thanks, guys. Yeah, talking about Andrew Jackson hiking sounds pretty cool. That's probably the first time I've ever heard that in my life, but thank you. I also look for rocks. How's that for a doozy? I'm like, you want to talk about history and look for rocks while we hike? Why do I always turn on my transatlantic voice? Gigi said I need singing classes. Thanks, Michelle. Gigi said I need singing classes. I don't sing very well. In other news, I'm Batman. Yes, Mandy. All of these are based off of true stories. I just put myself in them. And that story I just told was literally a true story. Like the story I just told about Eliza Crawford. That's like a true story. She said, do you ever tell true stories? I just told one. Hi, Nancy. Me too, Leslie. I've always wanted to do that. Yes, I'm a rock hound, AJ, for sure. I have been since I was born, and I've never stopped being one. Most people stop as adults. I never did. Because I don't care if people think it's weird that I put rocks in my pocket. Most people stop doing it because they don't want to be embarrassed. Someone tells them, like, what are you doing, bro? And then they just don't do it again. Don't let people do that to you. Keep picking up rocks. Rocks and shells. I don't really grab shells sometimes, but yeah, that would be cool to go to the Philippines. That would be really neat. But yeah, I don't think haunted places, I mean, I go to haunted places, but not for like a vacation. Do you know what I mean? And to me, haunted places aren't that interesting versus like cryptid places, because hauntings are just, it's just a human. It's just a human spirit that's like, I'm a human and I'm stuck. I don't know. I just don't find it as interesting as like, except for when it's stuff like Eliza Crawford where she solves her murder. That's interesting. But when it comes to like just human spirits in general, I do think that's like interesting, but I don't think it's like, I don't know. I don't find it that scary because it's not that unknown. It's just a human, like their spirit. Like what I find more interesting are cryptids and elementals and stuff that we can't really explain. Does that make sense? Like I still find ghosts are cool and I'd still be spooked at a haunted house, but I don't find them, they're not like my favorite. Like I like the unexplained stuff better versus just ghosts. But everybody really likes ghosts. So that's a major topic of... Jade, you just became a super fan? Jade. You stayed at a haunted hotel once and nothing happened. Well, that's a shame. Wait, what did Angela say? You're back, Jade. Lily, every time I see Devin, there are rocks in her pockets. Yeah, and Angela's my friend in real life. So, yep. Well, not necessarily. Yeah, I guess they are in my pockets too, but like in my car, everywhere. Pretty much everywhere. I love it. I can't help it. I just love rocks. Okay, quick set up the next poll and I'll be right back so we can vote for the next story, guys. Welcome to the porch. And while I'm setting up this poll, if you guys could do me a big favor, could you hit the share arrow? What is, Jade? They're everywhere, Angela said. They are. They're pretty much, she's not wrong. They're everywhere. So if you get that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner, there's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs. And it helps us grow our beautiful porch. Who's going to bed? They or Whitney? Good night. Cat, it disappears all the time. If you just swipe out of the app and come back, the repost arrow will usually reappear. Same thing with the add to story button. They both just like randomly don't show up. Every single time I open the app from my other phone to put share to story, it doesn't, the share to story button's gone. And then I have to swipe out and come back in and it's there. So if you have an older phone, that's why. Good night, Whitney. Sweet dreams. Matt, what did you do today that wiped you out? What did you do today? Okay, you guys, the next poll is ready. That's cool, Steven. Okay, guys, the poll is ready. We have the door in the water. Good night, Lorna. Sweet dreams. Love ya. Hi, Tamika. We have the door in the water. I haven't put it up yet. We have the door in the water, the Lubbock Lights, the Flatwoods Monster, the Stillness in the Cedars, and the White Witch of Rose Hall. Hi, Rachel. All right, and you can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner. You can vote up to 50 times a person, and you can vote for more than one story. Who's it gonna be? We have the door in the water. We have the Lubbock Lights. We have the Flatwoods Monster. We have the Stillness in the Cedars, and we have the White Witch of Rose Hall. Thank you, Michelle. That's so cute. Hi, Amy. Thanks for the hand hearts. Thank you, Tracy. Welcome in. All right, and the winner is The Stillness in the Cedars featuring Jade. Yeah, I know. I was thinking we were going to get to see Curtis. Oh my gosh, thank you, Michelle. I love him. And thank you, Ethan. I love that little canyon bighorn. Thank you so much, Ethan. Tracy, thanks for the capybara swimming. And also, guys, thank you for the taps. I appreciate it. I don't know how we ever got that, like, back to back with 1 million. I feel like TikTok must have been having a glitch or something. Those 3 days we got 1 million taps. Oh my gosh, what is he doing? He's so cute. Look at his vest. That was the cutest one yet, Tracy. Thank you. Jungle, Blitzy, they're different each time. And he had a little vest on. Did you guys see his little vest? Oh my God, he was so cute. All right, I'll be right back with the tale of the Stillness in the Cedars. And welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. I'm here. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. I am here every night from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. And if you guys could do me a big favor while I set up the next story, if you could hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. There's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs. And it helps us grow our beautiful porch. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing with your friends helps. And so does tapping. Thank you guys so much. I'll be right back. Oh God, thank you, Amy. I love the little cappies. They're so cute. And thank you, Tracy, for the cozy cryptids. I'll be right back with a tale of the stillness and the cedars. I really can't believe your foot, Jade. I'm so glad you have a doctor's appointment for it tomorrow. Okay, you guys want to know something funny? Is in the story I hurt Jade's foot. Okay, it's like the only story where I accidentally hurt somebody. I step on her because we're freaking out and I hurt her foot. Okay, I'm not even kidding, but now Jade has like something wrong with her foot and she's going to the doctor for it tomorrow. It's like she manifested it listening to this story or something. I shouldn't laugh because you're in pain and it makes me sad, but I just feel like it's just such a it could be anywhere on your body and it's your foot. It just feels like, I know, like it's like, yeah, like it feels like, yeah, it's just such a weird coincidence. Justin said, "You'll never believe this, Doc." Yeah, my stories are that powerful. I made it happen. Now her foot hurts, right? That's like, I know, it's such a coincidence. And I'm like, dude, I feel so bad. But I didn't really hurt her foot, but now her foot hurts. And I was like, Jade, because she was like mentioning it the other day, and I was like, Jade, like how I hurt your foot in this story. I know. I need to be able to heal you. Jeez, I wish I need to figure out how to heal your foot from all the way here. Justin said, "Doc, you're never gonna believe this." So anyway, in the story, I hurt Jade's foot and send her some love because her foot is in fact in pain right now. Right? The subconscious mind. Oh my God, I wish I'd write a story about myself getting $1 million if that was the case. See? If like the dream, like the dream machine, everything I write comes true. Yeah, right. Paul, I've actually talked to a ghost before from the grave. A couple times. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the stillness in the cedars. Oh my God, look at his compass watch, Amy. Look at his compass watch. These are the cutest ones. Oh my God, he had a compass watch. I grew up thinking I knew what silence sounded like. It was the hush that followed snowfall, or the way the woods paused at dusk before the crickets began. But the silence I met in the Oregon Coast Range wasn't peaceful. It felt like something was always watching. I came there late in the season, chasing the remains of a vanished town called Brookmere, a place wiped from maps after a landslide in 1924. My research was on forgotten logging camps and how they disappeared and what they left behind. The archives had one photograph: a dozen men in suspenders standing beside a cedar as wide as a boxcar. Behind them, the forest was already trying to swallow the mill. Thank you, Jeep. My good friend Jade lives outside Portland, so she decided to meet up with me for the adventure. And we hit the road. The Oregon Coast Range has a smell that never leaves your clothes. The scent of wet bark, rust, and salt from the Pacific pushing through every crack in the mountains. Thanks, Michelle. It rains there in ways that erase boundaries, and after 3 days in, every step squelched. The trail, if you could call it that, was a faded survey line. Jade told me that the old loggers had a legend in these parts. And they called it the Hide Behind. A creature that lived in the cedars, always out of sight, feeding on men who strayed far from camp. They said it moved faster than the human eye could track, slipping behind the nearest tree trunk each time you turned around. Thank you, Michelle. It left no tracks, no bones, only an absence that smelled of rot and sawdust. We told ourselves it was probably just folklore, born of too many nights with too much whiskey. But once we were in that dripping green labyrinth, I caught myself glancing between every few steps. By the 4th day, the rain turned violent. The temperature dropped 20 degrees in an hour, and the wind came up the gorge like a freight train. Jade and I agreed that we couldn't make it back to the car before dark. Our map showed a Firewatch cabin built in the 1930s about a mile off the trail near a ridge. If it was still standing, it would most likely be dry. So, we followed the map, desperate for shelter. The hike there felt wrong. The forest wasn't swaying with the wind, it was bracing against it. The cedars leaned inward, their crowns knitting into a ceiling that blocked out the gray sky. Moss hung like soaked wool, and every gust brought down sheets of needles. When we finally saw the cabin, it barely looked like a structure. Just a shadow of timbers, the roof sagging under years of rain. Jade pushed the swollen door open. Inside smelled of mildew and cold ash. Someone had left a rusted stove, bunk beds, and a shelf of water-swollen logbooks. And the roof leaked, but only in a few thin streams. I lit a small lantern from my pack and I spread out my sleeping bag on the top bunk. The rain on the roof was a steady roar, and I told Jade that we could just stay one night and head back in the morning. And that was when we heard the first knock. It wasn't thunder, not a branch. A deliberate tap near the back wall, just knuckles on wood. We froze, waiting for a second. But nothing. And then the wind rose again, and we both decided it must have just been a branch shifting. But an hour later came another sound. Footsteps soft but heavy, circling the cabin. I held my breath. There shouldn't have been anyone out here. The nearest road was 10 miles away. The steps stopped right at the door. I killed the lantern. The rain went on louder now until the roof rattled. My ears rang from the pressure of listening. We laid in our bunks, frozen and terrified in the dark. When nothing else happened, we must have dozed off. Then at some point deep into the night, a crash jolted both of us awake. Jade screamed and we both looked at the back window, which had burst inward. Shards of glass glittered on the floor in the lantern light. Wind poured through, carrying cedar needles and the smell of rot. There was something stuck in the frame. A strip of bark peeled, as thin as skin, and curled inward like a hand. I told myself it must have blown loose from a tree. I told myself anything to try to stay calm enough to pack my gear. But when I turned to grab my jacket, Jade was frozen, staring at what appeared to be wet footprints on the floorboards, leading from the window toward the door. They stopped halfway across the room. We looked at each other and we bolted. Outside, the storm had eased into a thick mist that moved between the trees. Our headlamps caught only the trunks, endless and slick. Every time I looked left or right, there was motion at the edge of my sight. Something was shifting just beyond our beams of light. I began counting steps to keep from panicking. And that was when I realized the forest had gone completely still. No rain, no wind, no insects. The silence pressed so hard my eardrums pulsed. And then the smell hit, wet cedar and iron. Ahead, a hollow opened into the trees where the fog pooled like water. In the clearing stood the remains of Brookmere. Only the sawmill's foundation survived, stones half buried in moss. The rest were mere outlines. In the center rose a single cedar stump taller than me, its heart split by lightning. Something moved behind it. I only saw a flash, like pale, smooth flesh, and then it was gone. The air trembled with a faint vibration. I stepped backward, accidentally stepping onto Jade's foot. We both screamed. We were both on edge. Another flash, this time on the opposite side. This thing was circling us, but staying hidden by the trees. Always just beyond sight. Jade looked at me with growing concern and stuttered, I think it's the hide behind. The story said if you caught it in full view, it killed you. Maybe that was superstition, maybe not, but neither of us wanted to test it out. So, we turned and we ran. As fast as we could without tripping. The forest didn't seem to have directions anymore. The mist folded sound so our own footsteps sounded like they came from everywhere. I ran until my lungs burned, and then I stumbled into another clearing, smaller, ringed with fallen logs. At the center stood an old logging skid, chains wrapped around a buried axle. Hanging from one of the chains was a shape I thought was canvas until it moved. It was a coat, a human's coat, rotted through, the fabric stiff with age. Beneath it, bone gleamed. My stomach turned. Someone had died here long ago, left hanging when the crew fled the landslide. The bones clattered softly as the wind returned. I felt the silence break open behind me, and I didn't even have to look to know that it was there. I caught a glimpse over my shoulder, an arm elongated and jointless, sliding back behind a trunk. Every instinct said to run downhill. Water finds the road, and the road would find us safety. We barreled through undergrowth until we saw the faint glow of my car's reflectors through the fog. The shape behind us moved in rhythm with our motion, each time vanishing as I turned around. When we reached the car, I didn't stop to look back. We piled into the car and we were off. I drove until daylight hit the windshield. When we finally reached the ranger station, the man on duty stared when I handed over the coordinates. He told us that the fire watch cabin had collapsed 10 years ago, and the road beyond had been closed since the landslide. He must have seen my hand shaking because he poured us some coffee and asked us what we had seen. We told him it was nothing, just a bad storm. But then Jade glanced down at her sleeve, and there was a smear of sap across the fabric. Not amber or pine, but black, thick, and still wet. That night we stayed in the motel just outside of Tillamook, and we woke to the smell of cedar. The curtain swayed even though the window was shut. And then suddenly, we hear the faint, deliberate sound of knuckles on wood. I haven't gone back to Oregon since. And that's the tale of the stillness and the cedars featuring Jade. I'm never coming back, Jade. I'm never coming back. Just kidding. Just kidding. Thanks, Jerry. All right, guys, welcome in. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. Yes, misbehaving. It is the story where I stepped on her foot. Good night, forgive. Sweet dreams. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm here every night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself, and if you'd like to hear them when I'm not live, check out my YT channel or any of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. I do have a bedtime stories playlist on my YT channel that you can listen to fall asleep, and all of these lives, well, starting a couple weeks ago, are now available on my YT channel. After I'm done, you can watch the recordings if you missed a moment or part of a story, etc. But these stories are also all in full video form, available on a bedtime stories playlist for you anytime you would like. Hi, Average C. MRT, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. All right, I'm going to set up the next poll. And if you guys could do me a big favor while I'm setting up the poll, if you could hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner, and there's a little yellow circle with two arrows chasing each other that says repost, and that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow our beautiful porch. Also, don't forget to check out the merch. The site is up there on the peach banner. It's also linked in my bio. It's very cute stuff. I think you guys will love it a lot. There's like funny Mothman koozies, shirts, everything you could imagine. And if there's not something, let me know what you would like. Also, Vampy, what did you want? Eliza Crawford, did you want it on a shirt? Or what kind of thing did you want her picture on? Hi, Kirby. Oh, I got a puzzle piece. Hold on. Robin, I love you. That's so sweet. Thank you, Angela. I'm so glad you visited. Thanks. Did you, Beefy? Oh my god, you did? I need to check my... I don't think I got... I missed that notification. That's so exciting. All right, I'll be back with the next poll to vote. Okay, guys, the next poll is ready. We have the door in the water. We have the hitchhiker. We have the Fresno night crawlers. We have the last summer carnival. And we have the librarian. And you can vote in the top left-hand corner. There's a blue box. Good night, Glinda. I hope your headache goes away. Sweet dreams. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow. You can vote in the top left-hand corner. There's a blue box. Yes, Mandy, it's on the peach banner up there. The link's also in my bio. Tons of apparel and all kinds of fun stuff. Could one of the mods write the name of this site in the chat too? Thank you, Justin. You're so on top of it. I don't think they offer more than 4X, but I'll check. I will look. I will definitely look. I'll try to find which option of shirt they have in that size and I'll do it. I love that, Robin. You're so cute. Of course, Vampy. I'm going to try to find you the right size. I want you to be able to rock the Porch Lore merch. Hi, Tom. Oh my god, Jade. I've never even heard of that, but that sounds delicious. That sounds incredible. Yes, please post the picture on Discord. I really want to see it. Yum, yum. Let's go door in the water. Let's go door in the water. Whoop, whoop. Well, that was a surprise. That was a quick one. The winner is... Yes, Mandy, I do. The winner is the last summer carnival. I'll be right back with that story. Okay, Suzanne, sweet dreams. Love you. See you tomorrow. Oh no, Tom, don't do it. Thank you, Justin. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the last summer carnival. Thank you, Skittle. Lulu and I took the long way on purpose. It was late July, the kind of summer that feels endless and indulgent, when responsibilities loosened their grip and the road felt like an invitation. We were halfway through a road trip that had no strict itinerary. Just a vague plan to drive until we were tired and stop when something interesting presented itself. Windows down, heat humming off the asphalt. The car filled with that sun-baked smell of sunscreen, fabric seats, and cheap iced coffee. We were already a little lost when we saw the lights. They appeared suddenly just beyond a curve in the road. Bright and colorful against the encroaching dusk. Thank you, Misbehavin'. Reds and yellows and whites, blinking in patterns that felt almost rhythmic. Like they were breathing. A Ferris wheel silhouette rose above the tree line. Its spokes lit evenly, rotating slow and steady. There was no sign announcing it, no banners or billboards advertising dates or prices. Just a narrow gravel turnout and the distant, unmistakable glow of a carnival. We hadn't seen another car in miles. It felt spontaneous and perfect in the way only summer detours ever do. We pulled off without much discussion. Gravel crunching under the tires. The heat of the day finally starting to break as the sun slipped lower. The air smelled like cut grass and warm dirt, layered with something sweet drifting toward us like sugar and oil. The closer we walked, the quieter everything became, and we could hear the carnival music swell through the air, as if carried unevenly by the wind. The lights looked older up close. Bulbs slightly clouded, wiring exposed in places where it probably shouldn't have been. Still, the place felt alive. It felt busy. People moved between attractions, but not in a chaotic way. There was an order to it, a flow that almost felt rehearsed. Everyone seemed to know where they were going. Their clothes were casual but oddly timeless, like outfits you couldn't pin to a specific decade. Denim, cotton, sturdy shoes, nothing branded. Lulu commented on how quiet it was. I shrugged it off, thinking maybe it was just a small local thing winding down for the night. The ground beneath our feet was packed dirt instead of pavement, worn smooth by years of foot traffic. I noticed there were no ticket booths at the entrance, and no one stopped us as we wandered in. The first game we passed involved glass bottles stacked impossibly high. The attendant stood motionless behind the counter, posture straight, eyes fixed ahead. The prizes hanging above were sun-faded stuffed animals, their smiles permanently stitched, their fur dulled from exposure. When someone stepped up to play, the attendant moved smoothly, without any of the usual exaggerated gestures or encouragement, and the bottles fell the same way every time, collapsing with a dull, hollow sound. As we moved deeper, I started to notice patterns that felt off in small ways that were easy to dismiss. No one carried drinks or food despite the smell of popcorn. And the smell of fried dough lingered thick in the air. The rides operated continuously, never stopping completely. Their operators switching places seamlessly as if they had rehearsed the handoffs. Faces passed us again and again that were familiar, like they were circling through a limited cast. The Ferris wheel drew us in eventually. From below, the lights were almost hypnotic, rotating in slow, deliberate cycles. The ride operator gestured for us to step forward, and the metal seat was warm, but not from sun. It was warm from constant use. As we rose higher, the carnival spread out beneath us in a neat, glowing grid. Beyond its edge, the darkness pressed in thick and complete. There were no visible roads, no distant towns, no other lights anywhere on the horizon. At the top, the wheel slowed, lingering longer than expected. From that height, I noticed something unsettling. The carnival didn't cast shadows the way it should have. The lights illuminated surfaces, but the ground beneath people's feet remained evenly lit, flat in depthlessness. When we descended and stepped off, I felt a strange relief, like I had been holding my breath the whole time without realizing it. We wandered past the sideshow tent next, its canvas patched in yellow. Inside, displays lined the walls, telling stories through photographs and artifacts. Performers and workers were featured prominently, their names written beneath their images. Dates were included, but they didn't follow any logical progression. Some spanned decades, others ended abruptly. I noticed that no one seemed to age between photographs. Lulu and I looked at each other. We didn't say anything about it. We just had an unspoken agreement to keep moving. The longer we stayed, the more tired we felt. Like the place was leaching out all of our energy. We both felt drained. Time felt stretched thin and elastic here. I couldn't tell how long we'd been there. only that the sky beyond the lights never fully darkened or brightened, it just stayed the same. The carnival existed in its own suspended twilight. We passed a row of trailers near the back, their paint peeling and their steps worn. Laundry hung from lines. I realized that I hadn't seen anyone leave the carnival. People arrived at attractions, moved between them, but never exited toward the road. And that was when the thought slowly crept in. This place wasn't traveling, it wasn't temporary. This was when I realized the people working here weren't employees in the usual sense. They were retained, kept, recruited into permanence. The carnival didn't hire people, it claimed them. We broke into a run, pushing past bodies when the exit appeared suddenly. The gravel path re-emerging like a lifeline. No one followed us beyond the edge, and the lights dimmed the moment we crossed back into the darkness, and the music cut off mid-note. We reached the car, breathless with our hands shaking, and the engine roared to life and gunned it. As we pulled away, the glow of the carnival receded quickly, swallowed by trees and night as if it had never existed. We drove for miles after that in complete silence. Neither of us spoke. I think we were both in shock. Later, when the adrenaline faded enough to let the truth sink in, we started to piece it together. The staff never aged. The job postings never expired. There was a sense of permanence. It wasn't a business. It was a waiting room. We never found that carnival again. No matter how much we searched, no maps or local records acknowledged that it ever existed. But sometimes in the height of the summer, when the night air smells of sugar and oil, I think about how close we came. And I wonder how many others saw those carnival lights and were never seen again. And that's the tale of the last summer carnival. Welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every night from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Thanks, Mandy. And before I start the last story, if you guys could do me a big favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch. Thank you, Deborah. Also, it is grilled cheese time. So I'm going to take a quick swig and I will be right back with the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Happy Wednesday. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax. Welcome to the porch. Hi, Spooky Bestie. Vampy, it looks like you signed up for a life in the circus. Aw, Spooky Bestie, you just became a super fan. Thanks. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale. Oh, we love having you here. I'm so glad, Spooky Bestie. This is the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Well, are they called ramekins? Spooky cabins? Is that what you call them in restaurants? Ramekins? Oh, thank you, Diamante. Thank you. Thank you so much. They are called ramekins, that's what I thought. And I know that because I'm a nerd. I didn't even work in a restaurant. But like in the story, if I said, with a little ramekin of ketchup, I don't think it would have the same hit. Spooky Bestie's got the upgraded stickers now. You want what, Jade? You want me to say ramekin? Oh, is it Robin? I love that. This is Robin's background on her phone. I love that. No, Spooky Cabins, I still like that you were that guy. I like spreading knowledge. I don't think there's anything that guy about spreading knowledge, as long as you're not being like a mansplaining jerk. But if you're just like, hey, did you guys know that? I kind of love people that do that. Because guess what? I'm one of those people. I'm always like, did you guys know that? So don't ever feel like you can't share. I love knowledge and I love when people share it. And if I hadn't known that already, that would have been a really cool factoid. Do you know? Yes, Shannon, Sagittarius. We love information. I'm not usually the kind of person who pulls over on back roads at night. Not unless I absolutely have to. But that night, something about the storm, the long drive, and that growling pit in my stomach convinced me otherwise. I was hungry. It was late October, and I was headed back to campus after a weekend visit with my friends in North Carolina. I had a midterm on Monday, and my plan had been to drive straight through, 5 hours, no stops. But then came the rain. One of those cold, slanted, whispery rains that creeps into your bones and makes the windshield wipers sound like a heartbeat. I had taken the wrong exit trying to bypass traffic, and I ended up on a 2-lane back road, surrounded by nothing but pine trees and power lines. And that's when I saw the neon sign. SYCAMRE Diner. The O in Sycamore was flickering like it hadn't worked right in years. But the rest was lit up in a cherry red neon. A tiny beacon in the middle of nowhere. I figured I'd grab a quick bite, maybe some coffee, check my map, and get back on the highway. But I should have just kept driving. You guys, Spooky Bestie said the windshield wipers sound like I can't. I should have known something was off the second I stepped inside. The bell over the door jingled. But not like a normal bell. Good one, Spooky Bestie. That is so hilarious, dude. But not like a normal bell. It made the sharp metallic ping that echoed longer than it should have. The air inside was warm. Almost too warm. And it smelled like grilled onions and pancake syrup. Now I'm just thinking of the windshield wipers making that noise. The place looked like it had been yanked straight from 1957. Checkerboard floor, a red vinyl booth, and a long counter with spinning stools. Even a jukebox in the corner that looked like it hadn't worked in decades. And the people? They all stopped and looked at me the second I walked in. Not in a rude way, just quiet, like they weren't expecting me. Like I'd walked into the middle of a sentence that no one wanted to finish. A waitress, tall, with a beehive hairdo and a light blue uniform, smiled and waved me over. "You get caught in the rain, sweetheart," she said, handing me a laminated menu. I nodded, still trying to shake off that weird feeling. "Yeah, the highway's a mess." She chuckled and patted my shoulder. "Well, you're safe here. Sycamore's always open for travelers." I sat down at a corner booth and the vinyl creaked. And I remember the jukebox shifted songs by itself and started playing some slow doo-wop ballad that I didn't recognize. I looked around and everyone looked normal, sort of. There was a trucker with a thick gray beard drinking coffee at the counter. A young couple whispering to each other in a booth by the jukebox. And an older woman stirring tea like she was lost in thought. But they all had the same look in their eyes, like they were there but also somewhere else. Like they were watching me, but out of the corners of their eyes, even when they were looking down. The waitress came back with coffee. Strong, hot, and surprisingly good. And I ordered a grilled cheese with fries. Simple, safe. She wrote it down with one of those clicky pens and said, "Don't worry, it's on the house tonight." And that was my second red flag. No diner just gives food away. While I waited, I took out my phone to check the map. No signal, and I mean nothing. No bars, no Wi-Fi, not even GPS. Just a blank screen with a spinning wheel. I glanced out the foggy window and the storm was still going. But now the wind had picked up, and I could see the power lines swaying like jump ropes in the dark. Thank you, rainbows. But the diner stayed perfectly lit. Not even a flicker. The food came fast. Too fast, like under 5 minutes, but it looked amazing. Golden bread, gooey cheese, crispy fries with a little metal cup of ketchup on the side. I took a bite. Delicious. I mean, I've eaten at a lot of diners, greasy spoons, college joints, and roadside shacks, but this was hands down the best grilled cheese I've ever had. The fries were perfect and the coffee never ran out. Every time I took a sip, it was somehow full again. I was halfway through the sandwich when the trucker got up to leave. He walked right past my table, nodded once, and whispered, Don't stay past midnight. That's all he said. What? But he was already out the door. The waitress gave me a tight smile and walked over, collecting his empty mug. Old Earl, he's always saying weird stuff. Just ignore him. But I couldn't. Something about his voice stuck with me. Something about the way he looked at me. Not like I was a customer, but like I was in danger. I checked the clock over the register. 11:42. I figured I had just enough time to finish my fries, grab the check, and head out. I still had at least 3 hours left on the road. But when I stood up, the lights flickered. Just once and then again. And then everything in the diner stopped moving. The couple by the jukebox froze mid-sentence. The woman with the tea stopped stirring, her spoon hanging in midair. The waitress, her hand reached out for a mug, just stopped. Like someone hit pause on the entire scene. Thank you, Code Red. I took a step back and the jukebox buzzed, glitched, and restarted a new track. I could still move, but no one else could. And then I heard it. Not music, not a storm, a voice. Not coming from anyone I could see. Just a whisper that seemed to echo from the walls themselves. I backed toward the door, my heart hammering in my chest, and I turned the knob. Locked. Of course it was locked. I tried the windows, but they were sealed shut. Jade. I started banging on the glass and shouting, but no one was outside. Just the wind and the rain and that flickering red sign. SYCAMRE. I turned back toward the dining room and everyone was gone. This is my child, beehive haired. I'm sorry for the people on YT and T-Witch. I'm losing it. Jade just said she was going to name her firstborn daughter Beehive Hair too. Okay. I turned back toward the dining room and everyone was gone. Not frozen anymore, just gone. The booths were empty. No plates, no crumbs, no mugs. No sign that anyone had ever even been there. Except for my plate. Still warm and still half-eaten. And then I saw the waitress. She was standing by the kitchen doors, her silhouette backlit by flickering fluorescent light. Her face was wrong. The same smile, but her eyes were empty, black and endless. like someone had painted over them. "You shouldn't be here, honey," she said in that same cheerful voice. "Not yet." I stumbled back, knocking over a chair as she took one slow step forward. "The others, they were waiting, but you just wandered in." Then she raised a hand, and the walls began to shimmer. Literally shimmer. Like heat waves on asphalt. The checkered floor rippled and the red booths started to fade, becoming outlines and then shadows and then nothing. And then I saw it, underneath the illusion. It was charred wood, cracked tile, broken beams, and black soot. Like the diner had burned down long ago. I ran. I don't even remember how I got out. 1 second I was inside, and the next, I was on the side of the road, soaked to the bone and gasping for air. My car was still there, parked on gravel that didn't even look like a lot anymore. Just weeds and puddles. No neon sign. No glowing windows, just nothing. I drove back to campus that night in silence. No music, no Porch Lore podcast. I kept glancing in the rear view mirror, half expecting to see that red neon flicker back to life. I didn't tell anyone, not for weeks. Not until I finally looked up Sycamore Diner on a local history site. And I found it. It burned to the ground in 1972. A gas leak. The whole place went up at midnight. Everyone inside was killed. 5 patrons, a waitress, and a cook. The photo in the article. Same checkerboard floor. Same red booths. Same neon sign. SYCAMORE. And in the corner of the photo, that same waitress, smiling. I never took that back road again. I don't even drive at night anymore, if I can help it. And every time I see a neon diner sign, something in me flinches just a little. Because I know I was there. And I know I wasn't supposed to be. But the part that keeps me up sometimes, the part that really makes my stomach turn, that was the best damn grilled cheese I've ever had, and I didn't even pay for it. Thank you, Leslie. And that's the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. And man, Jade, you really had me rolling with that. I'm going to name my firstborn child Beehive Hair too. Oh my God. Anyway, good night, everybody. I love you guys so much. I've been live for like 7 hours today total, so I need to go to bed. I love you guys so much. And I will see you guys again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Michaela, a baby with a beehive hairdo would be amazing. Same time, same place. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I hope you guys get some wonderful sleep. If you don't, head on over to my YT and check out the Bedtime Stories playlist. And don't forget to check out the cool merch. I'll see you guys again tomorrow night. Sweet dreams, and don't forget, stay spooky.